Part of your evolution was Oklahoma as well. Your mom is from there also, but you ended up living there. Did you
Yeah.
pick up any influences from that geographic area while you were there?
Well, I was there in some ways. I didn't. We didn't move there till I was like 36 or something. So, I of course grew up. My grandparents had a house on Lake Eufaula there, and so I grew up spending a lot of summers with out there with them and Christmases and stuff. So Oklahoma was a fixture of my childhood, but I didn't actually live there until I was
Yeah.
almost middle aged. And so, I mean, I think for one thing it did do was it probably helped in some ways get me a little bit more into some people like Woody Guthrie. And I read his biography, which is what led to me writing The Last Free Place in America, which was the title track for my third album.
Yep.
Not that I was unfamiliar with him before. I mean, I knew him for sure, but it might have influenced me to dig more into that. So I don't know. I think naturally just in the music my parents listened to or influences my dad had, there is a lot of that Texas and
Yeah, I
Oklahoma
was going to mention
sort of
Texas as well
thing in
because I
there.
know Texas influenced your dad quite a bit. I was curious if
Yeah.
that trickled down to you as well.
I think it's definitely there. I mean, in a lot of ways, when I consider my favorite kind of what I guess mostly people would call country music, it tends to be the Texas swing or the real like down home Appalachian stuff,
Yeah.
like
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm. Completely
make you
understand.
clench make you clench your butthole just a little bit,
Yeah, I'm right
kind
there
of.
with you, man. Yeah, I'm loving the kind of the advent of the Appalachian sound that's happening right now. It's a cool thing
Mhm.
to witness, man. Because honestly, I think Nashville, the corporate Nashville, really hates that that's taken off, right? Like,
Well, I mean, hate it all you want to. It does something to people
of
that's
course it does.
real.
Yeah,
You know what I
absolutely.
mean?
And
And all the perfection, all the quantized, auto-tuned crap has just got to go. It doesn't do anything for the human spirit. You know what I mean? You want to hear somebody maybe not quite hit that note now and then. It's
yeah,
good for you. You
sure.
know?
Yeah, it adds character, man. You have to have that character, man. I don't want a perfect
Yeah.
song every time. Like, show me, like, man.
No.
Some of the coolest shit that I listen to is like those old outtakes that Elvis used to do with, just that
Mm,
hearty laugh when he messes up and they leave it in there,
yeah.
man. You know what I mean? Like, that's
Yeah.
what's missing nowadays, man. That character from the studio.
Absolutely.
Yeah, give people a view into the creative process. Don't take it out all the time.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that I listen to your music, I see you as an artist. The word that pops up more than any other for me as a listener of yours is freedom. There is a lot of freedom in your art, and I love that so much. But coming from two people who dealt with the mainstream, music life, your dad obviously was an outlaw as well. Did you
Yeah.
learn that freedom from them, or is that something that you just had to pick up organically along the way? As maybe you're finding out that mainstream music isn't exactly for you.
Well, yeah, no, I think my dad definitely had built a life that was very free and
Yeah,
he never married again after my mother. I was the only kid. He did not take on anything else like that. He never really would own pets. You know what I mean? Like he wanted to be free to pick up and go hit the road, and
sure.
and he basically stayed that way, until age caught up to him, and then of course he fell in his home, and that was not long before the end. But I mean, he was touring up till. That occurred in late 2015. He was touring up until at least 2014. Still, and it's hard for me to say exactly if that all came from watching him. I do feel like, we kind of come into this world with a little, sometimes we have this thing stamped on us, whether that's somehow metaphysical or genetic or whatever it is. And I do think that if there was something I would say about me, that it's true that I've also tried to sort of build a sort of life and have a career where I don't get roped into anything. I've been very cautious, not to like become a part of anything that seemed like kind of a novelty act much that might actually have some success that then you get stuck doing. I've tried to maintain some authenticity and integrity in what I do, even if it's not perfect or not that good all the time, or you do have to watch it evolve over time, because if you really go back and listen to all my records that I've commercially released, man, I'm getting better at this
Absolutely.
basically in real time as you watch me do it. And that's what I always liked about a lot of my favorite bands
Do
was
you
that
reflect on that?
I mean, sure. Well, it really hit me one time when I was on a road trip with somebody and we listened to them in chronological order. It was somebody that I hadn't really heard all of them, and that really struck me. Like they just get better as I do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was. And I, even now I'm still figuring it out. I mean, I think the producer switch in the last couple of albums I've done, he's just Marcus Stadler. I mean, he's been great at capturing me in the right way and then adding stuff to it in the right way. And I've been real happy with these last couple of albums in a way that, you know, not that I was unhappy with the other ones, but a little bit
Mhm.
sometimes. They none of them were ever quite what I really set out to do exactly. And these have been a lot more. I don't know. In some ways, I'm only showing up and doing my job, and I'm letting everybody else do theirs.
Yeah.
And
Delegation,
the
right? Just let
result.
them do it.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
result. I'm showing up and I'm putting down my parts, and if
Yep.
I really don't like something somebody's done, I'll say something, but that's pretty rare. For the most part, it's like maybe a couple of things here and there that I'm like, let's lose that, or let's change this instrument or something. But basically, Marcus just does a great
Is
job
that
with it.
something you had to learn over time? That kind of hands off in the studio?
I, I think it was sort of an accidental discovery because I think I definitely tried to control too much in the past and
Yeah.
and have these things really really mapped out as much as I could. It felt safer for me, but the truth of the matter is that I get better results if I just do what I do and not worry about it.
Well, that's
Let
an
other
ego
people
thing,
do
right? You have
theirs.
to know that somebody else is better at something than you, right? And then it's
Sure,
being
yeah.
able to recognize that and not let your psyche or whatever your ego feel attacked by that, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I mean, think too, because I've always been like able to do home demo
Yeah.
stuff one way or another. It's like always been a thing way back to the Tascam cassette 4-track days when I was a teenager, all the way up to Logic now, I've always been sort of been able to play and experiment with things. And, sometimes you just put way too much crap on something and you get way too high on the smell of your own farts and you just think you're a
Yep.
genius.
Yeah.
And it's just like this overproduced, oversaturated shit.
Yep.
And the best thing you can do is just strip it all back down and let a couple of competent players come in and put tasteful parts on it. And it's perfect,
Yeah. I love that.
So, yeah, these are all hard lessons to learn. And like anything else, you just learn them by doing,
Yep.
over and over and over.
Yep. And if you
So,
don't learn from it, that's your own fault, man. Like that just means that
yeah.
you're cool with anything, and that's never good when you're creative, I feel.